Hi everyone. Thanks for joining this event. So in this event, we are going to talk about a course that we plan to launch soon. And in this event, in this stream today, I'm going to answer your questions. And in return, what I will ask you is to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not, and be active in the live chat. This way you're giving Google or YouTube signals that this is a very interesting video. So if you engage with this video, it will start promoting the video so more people will see it. Another way to help us spread the word about the course is to give our course a star. So you see that I already started. I'm going to share it right now with you. So go and give us our repo a star. And actually this repo, this is our main entrance point, so to say, to the course. I'm going to put the link in the description too. If you watch this in recording, you will be able to find this video, this link in the description, of course, repository. So it will appear here. Let me refresh it. So you will see, yeah. So you will be able to find the link. Wait, you will be able to find the link to the course repo here under the video in the description. Here it is. So please give us a star. This way you can support the course. You can help us promote the course, because if everyone on this video, on this stream, and everyone who is watching this gives a star, if you have not, then the repo might appear in GitHub trending, and then other people will see it. So this is the repo. This is where the content of the course is. And yeah, here you can already see the things we plan. We'll talk about it in details when we launch the course. So right now, I just want to answer your questions, the questions you have, but we'll go into detail of and cover exactly what the course is about in the launch video. And the official start date of the course is June 2. But the launch stream will happen a bit earlier, so it will happen next week on May 27th. And the reason for that is I actually have a trip to Sicily, which unfortunately coincides with the launch date. And when I found out about this, it was too late to make any adjustments for both the trip and the course. That's why we will have the launch stream next week, here on May 27th, but if you plan to actually watch it on June 2, it's also fine, because all the streams, all the videos, they will stay in our YouTube channel. So we will have the launch stream next week. The course starts June 2, but actually from the next week, it should also be possible to already start working on the course. So that's some of the information about logistics. So we'll again talk more about the content of the course next week on the launch stream. And but this is the repo. You can learn. You can just look around, see what is there. And right now, there is a pinned link in the live chat. It's here. If you click on this link, yeah, go to site, you will see this page. So this is the page you can use to ask questions. And right now I'm going to use the presenter mode. And yeah, or alternatively, you can scan the QR code and ask your question from the phone. And now let me start with your questions. So question from Geo, sorry if I don't know how to pronounce your name. What has changed in the course curriculum since last year? So there are a few changes. So last year, this is already an updated curriculum. So we have fewer modules. We don't have a module on open source. So it used to be second. So we first had intro, then we had open source, then vector search. Then we split evaluation and monitoring into two modules. So previously we had just one, evaluation and monitoring in one. Right now we're going to split them in two. So here in evaluation, we are going to talk about offline evaluations, how we can evaluate our RAG applications using different, let's say, offline metrics, like how we can evaluate the quality of our search, how can we evaluate the quality of our RAG application without presenting it to the user. But once our system goes online, so this is where the monitoring part comes into the picture. When we talk about monitoring, when we actually launch the system, then we want to monitor costs. We want to see what kind of queries we send, what kind of responses we get back. We want to make sure our users are satisfied with this. So this is what we will cover in module 4. Then when it comes to technologies, there are also some changes. So in monitoring, we will use Phoenix. Let me show you. Yeah, this one. It's an open source tool from Arise. So here, this is what we're going to use instead of Grafana. We used Grafana last year, so this year we will use Phoenix. And other thing, it's likely that for vector search model, we will use another tool. It's not official yet, so once it's confirmed, you will see what the tool is. Previously, we used Elasticsearch, and we will know, it depends on our sponsors. If they go through, like if it goes through, then this will be the sponsors module. If it does not, we will stick to Elasticsearch like last year. So you will get, so next week we should finalize it. So you will actually know what exactly is going to be in module 2, but it's also possible, it's also likely that the content of the vector search module will change. When it comes to the content inside other modules, so evaluation, I think it mostly will stay the same as last year. So we'll just take evaluation from the vector search model and evaluation from monitoring model, like we had last year, and then put them into one. So this will be the content for our evaluation module. Intro will probably stay without changes. Best practices, there could be a change. I spoke with Timur, who is the instructor for this course. He might make some updates for this module. He might make some updates in the best practices module. That's more or less it. We will also have, like last year we had a workshop with DLT. We will also have a workshop with DLT. The topic of the workshop might be a bit different. The instructor will probably be different, but we will also use DLT in this course too. So that's more or less it when it comes to the change. So I would say there are quite a few changes compared to other courses. In other courses, the changes are not so big, but here we rearrange some things. And also, I mentioned that, wait a second, I mentioned that we removed the open source module, and you might wonder, yeah, but where does it go? So actually, we plan to launch a separate course that focuses on open source. And the course is open source LLM Zoomcamp. So this is where we will cover. So instead of just doing one module, it will be a mini course with 2 modules. So I'm going to share this link too. This course, we will run it in parallel to LLM Zoomcamp. And because we will run it in parallel, we will allow more time for each module, like maybe 2-3 weeks for each of the modules here. But we will see how exactly logistically to organize that. But yeah, we took this open source module and turned it into a separate course. And let me share the link with you here. And so I'll put it here. LLM Zoom. So yeah, quite a few changes this year. And by the way, we also had a module on orchestration, which we removed. So last year we had orchestrator for the LLM Zoomcamp. This year we will not have one. Okay, do you think LLM are a lasting technology, or are they just a passing trend like metaverse or NFTs? So for me personally, I didn't use anything from Metaverse. I did not do anything related to NFTs, but I'm a very big user of LLMs. So I use it for coding. I use it in personal life for asking different questions, for helping me structure my thoughts, for some fitness stuff like for running or for weightlifting. I use it a lot, so it became a part of my life, so to say. Um, so it looks like, at least if you ask me, uh, my life became so much easier when ChatGPT appeared and when I started using it. And now I also use tools like Cursor for coding and other things. So I don't really want them to disappear. So even though there is a huge component of hype there, um, it does make my life easier. I cannot say the same about Metaverse. I don't know. I still don't. Is it like a VR thing? I guess. Or NFTs, like I have no idea. NFTs is like when you make some digital art and you sell it, right? So probably it still has some use. But so if you ask me, I think this is LLMs are here to stay. The hype will probably die out like it always does. But the things, the tools will stay, like the tools we use, the products we use. Um, maybe ChatGPT will look different, but I think uh, some of the things we see now, they will probably stay. So, and I think it's for you as a developer or as a data scientist or ML engineer, whatever, it really helps to learn how to use these tools because with them, you can create prototypes faster. So for example, if you're a data scientist, there are some tasks for which LLMs, they don't necessarily give the best possible result, but they give you a good enough result, right? And then with this result, you can quickly test your idea. You can see if this makes sense to invest more time into this idea, into this project, and then like build a proper machine learning model. Or things like RAG. So this is what we actually cover in this course. We cover RAG, which if you don't know what RAG is, let's say you have a knowledge base of things and you want AI to be able to read from this knowledge base and answer questions based on this knowledge base, right? So I think this is a super useful thing, and the ideas from there, they are likely to stay around because many companies have these knowledge bases, and or many people, like for example, I have my own personal knowledge bases that I want to use, and this is actually what I show here in this. Wait, let me go back to LLM Zoomcamp. I show in this project example, I use how to use my own personal knowledge base. It's called Fitness Assistant. Like how to use my personal knowledge base to do something useful with it. So if you ask me, I think they're here to stay. But some things like the hype will die out. What prerequisites would set me up for success in the course and help me get the best out of it? So you need to be a developer. So you need to be able to program. Like you don't have to be proficient, but you need to be comfortable with programming, with command line tools, and with connecting different things together. Like for example, we use a bunch of we use, for example, Elasticsearch, or we use I don't know, in the previous editions of the course we used Grafana. Being able to connect these things, having these engineering skills is certainly helpful. You don't need to know any machine learning for that. You just need to be programmer, know how to code. You don't have to be like, you don't have to have like 10 years of experience. But let's say if you're a student and you did some coursework and you know a programming language and you feel comfortable with this programming language, this should be okay. We use Python mostly, so it also helps if you know Python. So if you don't, you can take these 2 weeks before the course starts to actually learn Python. Is it beneficial if I do the course again this year, even though I have successfully completed it last year? So last year we talked about RAG and this year we'll still talk about RAG. We'll have new things, so definitely you can check the new modules. AI has changed over 1 year. So even though the applications that we cover in the course are the same, it's still RAG, but there are new models, so you can experiment with these new models and see how they perform, for example. Also, it's still not clear what exactly we will do, but I want to run a competition like last year. Last year we did a competition where we challenged you to solve mathematical problems with LLMs. So it was high school problems. We want to do something similar, so there will also be a competition. So you're very welcome to take part in this competition because it will be different from the last year. Will the course help me to RAG from the LiveDB? Well, I need to know what exactly you mean by this, but the answer is most likely yes. But also depends what exactly is in your database. If it's just tabular data and it's a transactional database, it's one thing. If it's a knowledge base, like we show in the course, it's another thing. But in both cases, the answer is yes, but the road there to actually do this is different, right? But yes, it will. Are we going to do any agentic AI development in this course? No, not. We did not plan. We might have a workshop about that, because I plan to do a workshop about agentic workflows for a conference in June. And when I do workshops for conferences, I always do also these workshops here in Datadogs Club. That's why it's likely that we will have a workshop about that, about agentic workflows in June, sometime in June. It will not be a part of the course because we will need to think how exactly to organize that logistically, but we will definitely have a workshop. And then perhaps next year, once we have enough materials, and we will also see where the industry is going. Right now, agents are, there's a lot of hype around agents, but when it comes to agents, when it comes to LLMs, I think they will stay. When it comes to agents, it's not clear what the hype and what is the actual useful use cases. So we will see. So the short, that was a long answer. Short answer, yes, we'll have some content around agents, but when it comes to including it to the course, probably it will happen next year when it will become, maybe there will be less hype and the applications will become more mature. Will this course include LMOps? Kinda, yes, to some extent. So this monitoring, I would say it's LMOps. But also, if you talk, again, depends on your definition of LLM-ops. And this also, in turn, depends on what kind of LLM you use. If it's an open source LLM that you host, it's one thing. If you just use OpenAI, it's another thing. So when it comes to using open source LLMs, we have a course. We will have a course about that. We will not go into LLM-ops. Maybe we will slightly, only partially touch the topics of deployment, deploying LLMs, but that will be it. So we'll talk about deployment in this open source LLM Zoomcamp. And in this course, we'll talk about monitoring. So these are the closest things to LLMOps, I'd say. So kinda, yes, partly. What will be the infrastructure cost, or all the computations will be local? Even though we don't include this open source LLM module, I think we should still include, so from the previous year, we used Ollama. So this is a thing that you can use to run things locally. So I will probably mention it in the first module. So let me add a note. Because not everyone will be able to use the cloud. But also there are tools like, what's the name? Grok So this one, Grok. So this is an API, but it's free. You can use it for free. Yeah. So this is something you can use instead of OpenAI. And then like the models are actually in the cloud, but you still get the benefits of not having to deal with local deployments. But again, it's up to you. You can use Grok, you can use OpenAI, you can use, I don't know, AWS Bedrock, or you can run things locally with Llama. Will the cars cover MCP? What is it? It's a model computer. What is MCP? Model context protocol. So it will not. Again, as I said about agents, so there is a lot of hype around agents. We'll have some content which will not be officially a part of the course, but we will try to include it, to run it in parallel to the course. So those who want to learn about these things will learn about these things. And once things become more mature, more stable, then we will include them. Could be a different course, like a separate course just on these things. Could be a part of LLM Zoomcamp. We will see how exactly it will look like in 1 year. Do we discuss evaluating LLM-based applications, generating metrics, and setting up guardrails? Evaluating, yes. Metrics, yes. Guardrails, also maybe in monitoring. I don't know. So we will see. Maybe for the last one, no. Guardrails, yeah, we'll not have them probably. But the first two, yes. Will we cover chunking techniques in the course? So kind of yes and no. So the data we have in the course, I will show you. So this is how it looks like. So it's already chunked. But later in the course, I talk also about chunking strategies. And this is something you can experiment yourself. So you don't need a video to do this, right? So here we teach you the main concepts of what RAC is, but when it comes to the actual implementation, this is something you can experiment with yourself, and you will also experiment with this yourself as a part of the project, because we have a project, and then at the end of the course, you will need to redo everything we learned, put it into practice, and this is when you will have a chance to actually experiment with things like that. What requirements? I think we talked about the requirements. We talked about MCP. We're going to use only one vendor models like OpenAI or multiple 3 models. I also answered that. Is RAG pipeline included in the course? Yes. So the course focuses mostly on RAG. So 1 year ago it was probably the most widespread, most commonplace application of LLMs. This year, there are a lot of providers that are already doing RAGs for you, so you don't necessarily need to implement this. But I think it's a very good and illustrative example of what you can do with LLMs. So we still focus on RAG, and we will see how the ecosystem evolves and how the application evolves over the next year. So maybe next year we shift the focus, but for now, yes, we still focus on RAG. There are many frameworks, Graph RAG, Agentic RAG. So we don't use any frameworks. So we teach you the basic concepts. So you don't need a framework to implement all this. And once you know the concepts, then you can use a framework to simplify some of the things. Will we have some content about language specifics? I mean, you can, like in your project, you can use any knowledge base. If your knowledge base is in Russian, then you're free to use it. You just need to describe, when you describe your project. Actually, let me show you. I'll show you some of the projects from the last year. Let me take, yeah. I think I need to fix this because I see all projects. these 2 times. So let's take a look at projects from Alex K. So Alex is doing did a project about nutritions. So this is how a project may look like. So you will need to do something similar. And if your data set, let's say if you have a similar data set, but it's in Russian instead of English, go for it. But again, like even though your data set is in Russian, all the description you include in README must be in English, because at the end of the course, you will need to do peer review. So for your peers, they need to be able to review your projects. So it has to be English. But if the actual application is in Russian, if the knowledge base is in Russian, I think it's fine. So let me catch my breath. So this is a third question about agents, right? We already covered that too. Can we use any LLM, GPT, Llama, Mistral? Yeah, you can use any LLM. Can different programming languages, JavaScript, also be used for this course? So we focus on Python. So in the course, we use Python. If for your project you choose to use JavaScript, it should be fine, but you need to describe everything here. Like you need to say that this project uses JavaScript, that this is how you install NPM, this is how you install, I don't know, whatever you need. This is how you prepare the project, right? So if somebody does not have any background in JavaScript, they still should be able to run it. So you cannot assume that people even have NPM installed, right? So you will need to give them a very concrete set of guidelines how to run the project, and if you do that, that should be fine. Right? So with Python, because we use Python, you can expect people to have Python on their computers. With Node.js, you cannot, so you will need to explain, I think. There will be also an intro to multi-modal embedding in order for the RAG to treat also pictures. No, like there could be also many other things, right? And then the topics that we can potentially include is limitless. The list of topics is limitless. We cannot include everything. So we needed, when we were coming up with the syllabus, we needed to focus on the most important things, such that this gives you enough background so you can start adding on top of this background later. So what I want to say with this is, with the information you learn from the course, you should be able to do this after you finish, right? So for example, for RAG, we give you the basic RAG. Once you know how the basic RAG works, you can start figuring out how exactly you can add multimodal embeddings, right? So for example, you use something that, I don't know, some model that can create embeddings from text and from pictures, and then you index them with your database. Or maybe you describe the pictures with an LLM, and then you store the description in your database. You can do, like, there are a million of things that you can do here, and they are not a part of the course, but with the knowledge from the course, with the background, with things you learn from the course, you should be able to do them too as your project. Can I get a decent job after the course? Yes, you can, but will you? It's not up to us, it's up to you, right? Everyone has a possibility, everyone is able to get a job, but the question is how exactly you're going to use the skills to do this. So technically, the skills we give you should be enough, but then for you, you will need to apply for jobs. We will not be able to do this on your behalf, right? So yes, you can, but you will need to actually do something for it. I am new to community and things are complicated for me to navigate in the GitHub repo. Would you be able to talk how to navigate the structure of LLM Zoomcamps? Well, I guess. So here, you just read what is written here. And then let's say if you want to learn more about module 1, you click on this link and you again just follow through this and you see, okay, here's a video. So you click on this video and you watch the video. And this is what you do for all the modules. So this is how it works. Just give it a go. Maybe try first module, and then eventually you will figure it out. All our Zoom camps follow the same kind of idea. So they are open source. Everything is on GitHub. You can also contribute. You can open a pull request. Somebody opened the pull request. This is from last year. Yeah. So just, I don't know, spend 5-10 minutes trying to understand, to figure out what is going on here, and then I think it should be fine. By the way, so I see that there is a pre-course workshop, building a search engine. This is something you can do now before the course starts, because in the course, RAG is based on search. So you use search, and then you use LLMs to summarize the results of the search, right? So if you want to understand how search engines work, you are free to check this workshop that we did last year. We're not going to redo this workshop, but you can do it. You can watch it here. So it's pretty useful, and I recommend spending some time doing this. Okay. So, but to answer your question, just go through this and click on links and see where they bring you. And yeah, eventually you will figure it out. Is it the fourth time you ask about agents? Oh. Okay, so I need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will be keeping notes of how many times you ask about agents. So agents are, as you can see, if 5 people asked about this, it's apparently a hot topic. We'll see if agents stand the test of time. At least in 1 year, we'll see if people are still talking about agents. Then probably this is something useful to include in the course. If people stop talking about agents, then yeah. It took us some time to launch the first edition of LLM Zoomcamp. Maybe some people would say we were a bit late to start the course about that. I agree, but on the other hand, we also wanted to cover something that is actually useful. And back then, we needed to wait some time to see that indeed LLMs are, I think, that would stay. So yeah, we took some time to launch the first edition of the course. That's what we're doing with agents too. So we want to see how, yeah, like if there's hype or there is more to this hype. What's an estimate of time investment? So we have this course management platform that I already asked. Let me actually send you this link. So this is for the last year. First, I'll add it to this description. CMM course management platform here. Okay. So what I wanted to show you here is if you go to homework, you can see homework statistics. And here in homework statistics, you can see time spent on lectures. So on average for first homework, people spend 4 hours and 3 hours on homework, right? So which means 7 hours in total. Let's see for homework number 2. Homework number 2 was a bit more difficult, but again, this is open source LLMs. We are not going to cover them this year in this course. So vector search. So vector search, people spend around 10 hours. So with this information, you can see that you should roughly give yourself like 10 hours for this course per week. Yeah. And actually, you need computer science background. This is helpful, and I think if you're a developer with experience, it will take less time for you. Yeah. Requisites, we talk about that, and the date. Okay, let's see. Last year, when did we finish it? I think the last thing, yeah, it took some time. So we started in July. So this year we start in June. So I think by the end of summer we should finish it. So the course, like it says that it's 10 weeks. So you can think of like 2 weeks for the first module, 1 week for each of the subsequent modules, and 3 weeks for a project. And we have multiple projects, so you can do the math and see what's the end date. How much of this course can I complete locally on my laptop without having to use cloud resources? All the course you can do without using cloud resources. So 100%. How much how much do you think it will cost to complete a course? If you use Grok, 0. If you use OpenAI, maybe a few dollars. I actually suggest to try using OpenAI, because this is if you work with LLMs in the future as AI developer or whatever the role is, it's very likely that you will use OpenAI. So I suggest you get familiar with this. Will you cover LMOps? Is it 6th time? Yeah, I'm taking, I'm just putting here, how to say, like, basically I'm counting how many times this question about agents comes up. So far it's 6 times. Do we use anything to evaluate RAG tools? So we will have a module about evaluation where we will use, we will not use any of these tools that you mentioned. We will use other things. So we will first evaluate search. And for that, we will use classical information retrieval metrics for search, like, I don't know, hit rate, like mean reciprocal rank, so things like that. And then there will be evaluation of the entire RAG flow. And for that, we use LLM as a judge. Right? So there are other metrics. We also think for the homework, we used Roosh or Rook. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, we cover some tools. And once you know what the basic ideas behind these evaluation metrics are, then you can go ahead and use any of this. So I heard about Ragas. I don't know about this one or this one. Then when it comes to monitoring, so maybe this MLflow on AWS, this is what I mean. When it comes to monitoring, we'll use this tool, Phoenix, but also if you use something else instead of Phoenix, the ideas they translate. So the basic concepts, they are the same across all the tools. So this is the Roosh or Rook. How do I actually pronounce it? How to pronounce Roosh? Okay. So fine-tuning, no, but Roosh we cover in homework. At least this is what we did last year. We will probably do this year too. Fine-tuning, no. We plan to cover fine-tuning in a different course. This one, open source LLM Zoomcamp. Where is it? Here. Yeah, here. So there will be a module about fine-tuning. So we'll cover it there. Because fine-tuning more applies to open source LLMs when you actually have, or open weights LLMs, when you have access to the weights and you can fine-tune. So we will cover it there. Should I stick with last year modules or the new modules? I mean, when you do the course, you will need to stick to the new modules. If you want to do it now or you want to take it as at your own pace, then you can stick to whatever year you want, including last year too. As a data engineer, how this course will help me? What are the prerequisites? So the prerequisites for a data engineer are the same as the prerequisites for anyone else, which I already mentioned. and how this course will help a data engineer. That's a question to you. Like, why do you want to take this course? Maybe I can give you some ideas. So I think this AI development is nothing else but data engineering under um, a disguise, let's say. So under the hood, everything we cover here is still data engineering. Yes, we talk about evaluating, we talk about monitoring, but at the end there is database, and we need to connect this database to this database, and this connection needs to be, I don't know, reliable. So there are some data engineering things, and even even though maybe you couldn't call it data engineering, but it's definitely engineering. So as a data engineer, you have the engineering skills you need to actually be a successful, let's say, AI developer or whatever it's called. And for that, you need to be able to use different tools, connect them together, and make sure it all works. So I still don't think I answered your question, how this course will help you. But this is what you as an engineer can do, and this is what you as an engineer can expect. And to learn from this course is how to stitch together, how to connect together all these tools. How it will help you? Well, you will learn about AI, which I think is really useful for engineers nowadays to know what is possible to do. Because, for example, you want to, so right now you have a job, but you want to do a side project. And for these side projects, knowing how to apply some AI stuff will be pretty useful. So maybe for your job that you have right now, it will not be super useful, but in general for your career, it should be. We will also build our own custom LLM in this course. No. So this course is about, I would call it LLM engineering. So it's about, or AI engineering. So it's about using existing things and putting them together in order to build an application. It's not about the internal. So here we treat LLMs as black boxes. So we will not learn how LLMs work. We will not build our own LLM. And for that, there are other courses. So we focus on engineering here. Okay, when the course starts, we have to go through the content and then submit the homework, right? That's right. Last one for agents. Okay, so 7. Cool. Can we expect a complex project? Can we learn? So I think there are multiple questions. Can we expect a complex project? You can just check this page, projects, to see what kind of what is expected from a project. Basically, you need to redo what you do in the course, but with your own data set. And then you can check the projects from other students. I showed you how to do this. You go to a project attempt, and then you see all projects, right? So for example, this is what Artur built. Food search rack, recipe recommendation system. I don't think it's necessarily a very complex project. It's not. But it's a very good project, and I see that Artur put a lot of effort into creating this project. It looks really neat. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's complex, but it will require time. Can we learn to orchestrate LLM applications? So last year we had a module about orchestration. We decided to remove it because we want to focus on like fundamental concepts. Yeah. I have good understanding of many variations of racks. So can I benefit from this? I mean, it's hard to answer this question for me. Like you just maybe check the first module and see if you will benefit from it or not. Because from what you say, it seems like you already know things. Maybe if you think you already know everything, just try to start with building a project. You'll have a lot of fun doing this. And if you see that there are some gaps, something you don't know, then you can go and learn things. And then this is how you will benefit, for example. Which course of yours had highest return of investment in terms of job opportunities? Yeah, hard to say. Like, I don't really have data to. I have only anecdotal evidence. After each course, people write me saying, thank you for the course, because this course helped them land the job. So I have only this anecdotal evidence. I don't know how much people invested in the course, how many of them got the job, what's their salary now, to properly answer this question. So, what's the reason you're asking this? Are you thinking? Do you think which course to take? Then take the one you like, and then I think it should start with you liking things. If you just take a course because it has the highest return of investment, let's say, let me just say it's the data engineering course, right? So you spent a lot of time doing the data engineering course only to find out you don't really like it. So what's the point, right? So maybe select a topic you like, and then from there, start from there. What the changes? I think we talked about this. How much it costs per model? Yeah, it depends on the model you use. You can always find, let's say if we talk about OpenAI, yeah, you can always find out the pricing in your favorite search engine, right? So here, and the price is per 1 million tokens. So it's roughly like 1 million words, let's say. So you send in 1 million words, and this would cost you $2, and 1 million words in the output is $8. So if you send 1 million words and you get back 1 million words, it in total will cost $10. It's very rough calculation, right? Because it's one token is not necessarily one word, but it can give you some idea that actually for $10 you can do a lot, right? And I think if you spend $10, you will not be able to. If you deposit $10 to OpenAI, you will not be able to spend all $10. And then there are, you see other models like Mini and even Nano, which are cheaper. So yeah, you can see the prices here. Fine tuning, we don't cover. We also don't cover hosting. But again, Google is your friend. I'm wondering which course is closest to current industry requirements, since job opportunities can be a good way to know return on investment. I guess it's related to the previous question, right? But what are the current industry requirements? It's also very context dependent. Like, let's say you live, I don't know where you are from. Let's say you live in Germany, like I do, right? So then you can open all the job positions that are related to AI in any way, if you want to work in this area. And then you can see what are the requirements there. So let's say you find 50 jobs, and you see what are the requirements for all of these 50 jobs. And then you can see what is a common theme. And then from there, you can see if this course is close or not. I don't have this data. So when we were designing the curriculum, we were thinking what are the fundamentals. We do not necessarily think in terms of tools, but more like what is the most important things to cover. So maybe in your area, for you, the context might be different. But I think, yeah, when it comes to this LLM course, it should cover the basics. But again, like, this is so difficult to answer. What type of course would be most beneficial for individuals working in the monitoring and observability domain? What type of course? Like, I don't know, monitoring and observability course? Are you asking about our course or courses in general? I don't know. So we have a course about MLOps. So this is a course that is happening right now where we have a monitoring model. So this is how to monitor ML models. We also have a monitoring module in LLM Zoomcamp. So they are kind of this observability and monitoring component that you're interested in. But again, I don't know if I actually answer your question or not. I'm going to explain used LangChain. If I remember correctly, Timur used LangChain in the best practices module. Research, documentary ranking. Yeah, so we actually use LangChain here. So I don't know what are Timur's plans to, if he wants to change this module or not this year. So maybe there will be more LangChain this year. So the question is, what's the difference between ML Zoomcamp and LLM Zoomcamp? The answer is in the title of the courses. So LLM is about LLMs, ML is about ML machine learning, right? So these are quite different things. And in the ML course, we actually go into, we talk a bit about how models work under the hood. In LLM Zoomcamp, we do not. But they are different courses. They're about different things. How can I do career transition from mechanical engineering with 9 years of experience to AI field with this course? Yes. What are the prerequisites to participate and succeed in this Zoomcamp? I answered this. Can I enroll in this course without any programming knowledge? You can, but the question is, will you be able to follow? So what you can do is take a look at the first module and see if you can follow it or not. If you cannot, it means that you have some work to catch up. I think it will be pretty challenging for you to actually follow the course. But again, depends on how much free time you have. If you have free time, if you want to invest your time into learning these things, you can enroll in the course and actually succeed. So it's up to you. Hardware requirements. No, not really. My background is related to machine learning. Even if I take the search engine workshop, will I be ready to LLM Zoomcamp? Yeah, like if your background is related to machine learning, I assume you can program. And if you can program, you're ready for LLM Zoomcamp. Because we don't really talk about internals. We talk about building AI applications. And from that point of view, all you need to be able to do is programming. And that should be sufficient. Can you please enroll and explain steps for enrolling and completing this? So steps for enrolling. You go to the GitHub repo. There's this big button, sign up here. You click on this, you sign up. Then you show up next week for the launch stream, where we talk about course content, and then from there you just follow. You also join our Telegram channel or our Slack, and then we will send you instructions of what to do. But roughly every week there will be a new module. You'll need to watch the videos from this module, and you'll need to complete the homework. So that's more or less it. And at the end, there will be a project that you need to complete. And if you complete the project, you get a certificate. So that's how you complete it. Are there any prerequisites to join? I answered that. Is this different from MLOps sessions or continuation? It is different. It's a different course. I thought the next cohort will start next year. So the previous cohort was last year. So the next cohort is this year. So it's been 1 year since the launch of our previous LLM Zoomcamp. So it's time to launch it, to start it again. I am not good in software development principles like POP. What is POP? I don't know what is POP, algorithms, and so on. Well, you don't need algorithms to be successful in this course. Let me actually answer a few more questions and then call it a day, because to be honest, I'm tired of talking. My throat hurts a bit after talking so much. So I'll answer a few more questions and then we will see each other again next week where we continue with all these questions. Yeah, so you don't need to be very good with software development principles to finish this course. Can you explain the steps for enrolling? Oh, did I answer this? I think I did. Will you cover GPU processing to generate? Oh, we don't cover that. Since there are a lot of new materials, does it mean the course tutorials will be alive and not register like what? I don't understand the question. So we usually pre-record materials, so it will be the same as in other courses. Can you please inform us where we can access the video for this course? The GitHub page. Will this course cover login user prompts? Yes, in the monitoring model. Will I have issues if I have never used GitHub? Well, you have time to learn it. But yes, you will have issues if you don't know how to use GitHub. You need to learn it. Can we learn about generating images using any LLMs? Go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, ChatGPT, can you please generate me an image of a nice squirrel on, I don't know, on what? On a car. And then here you go. So this is how you generate images. Prerequisites. Yes, I answered that. Certificate, yes. I think I'll stop right now. So let me stop sharing my screen. So I hope this was quite useful for you. So again, as I said, next week we meet for the launch stream. So there I will talk about course logistics, and then at the end we'll have time for Q&A where I will continue answering your questions. So I did not answer all the questions. There are still 14 of them. I will do that in the launch stream. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope to see all of you next week when the course starts. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. So let's learn together and have fun, enjoy learning. So goodbye. See you soon. Have a great week.